WNBC TV Public Affairs presents The Jewish Scene, produced in cooperation with the Radio and Television Commission of the New York Board of Rabbis. Today's program is devoted to Simchat Torah, rejoicing in the law. Our host is Rabbi Alan Blaine.
Shalom, everyone, and welcome. Welcome back to The Jewish Scene. We're coming to the close of our high holy day season, Rosh Hashanah and Yom HaKippurim, the peaks of spirituality, and then Sukkot, our beautiful harvest holiday with the lulav and the etrog and the marching and parading around in the sanctuary, and the sukkah, the tabernacle, the frail hut with a sechach on the top.
Boker Tov. Boys and girls, today we're going to talk about the sukkah. For the holiday of Sukkot, it is customary to build a sukkah, and we begin that immediately after Yom Kippur. If you look at the picture here, you see children getting ready to build a sukkah, bringing the wood and bringing the branches for the sukkah. Let's take a look at what that sukkah looks like finished. If you look at the picture carefully, you'll see that we have schach on top of the sukkah. And the schach usually consists of different kinds of branches of leaves, and it's never completely covered so that you can't see the sky, for the simple reason that the sukkah is supposed to remind us of the very flimsy huts that our ancestors lived in when they wandered through the desert after leaving Egypt. Let's look at the table. On the table, you see the lulav and the etrog, as was described by Rabbi Blaine. Well, boys and girls, we sit in the sukkah because we want to remember our ancestors in Egypt, leaving Egypt and wandering through the desert, and it also kind of represents our faith in God. Our faith in God that He would take care of our ancestors when they wandered through the desert. It was difficulty and it was dangerous, and yet the people knew that God would take care of them. I have a story for you this morning which talks about the most valuable merchandise, and in a way it's related to faith in God. Once a sage traveled by ship across the ocean to a faraway land, and there were many merchants on that ship. Each merchant would boast and brag about the merchandise that he was carrying with him. The silversmith talked about the beautiful silver and jewels that he was carrying. The person who brought wools and silks bragged about the quality of his fabrics. That man who carried spices aboard ship said his spices were the finest and the best and could bring the most money. And so each man identified his merchandise and bragged about it. There was a sage on board, and the sage wasn't going to be outdone. He boasted about his merchandise, he praised it very highly, but he refused to identify just what it was. Well, during the voyage, the ship was attacked by pirates, and they seized all the valuable merchandise they could possibly find. But you know what? They couldn't find anything that belonged to the sage. When the ship came to port, all the townspeople gathered to welcome the sage, and they honored him by offering him the position of rabbi. In time, he became wealthy, but he never forgot his fellow travelers, those merchants who had lost all their possessions to the pirates. And time again, he would tell his people, "My merchandise was the Torah, which could not be stolen from me, and which really proved to be the very best merchandise of all."
Thank you, Suzanne. We've spoken about the lulav and the etrog. We've discussed the sukkah and the joyousness of this glorious harvest festival. On the festival of Sukkot, our people remember the exodus from Egypt and the many, many years that our people wandered in the desert. During these years in the desert, the Israelites lived in these temporary shelters or sukkot. But after 40 years of wandering, they found peace and they found rest in the promised land. Now, this story is analogous to another situation which should be known to all of us if we know our American history. For the American pilgrims, like the Jews of the Bible, thank God when they gathered in their first harvest in this country. they too had traveled a long way in order to worship God in accordance with their own beliefs. Thus, Thanksgiving Day, the American festival, is really very, very much like, and is even patterned after, the Sukkot holiday of the Bible. And so, we build our Sukkot, we bless the lulav and the etrog, we thank God for the gifts of nature and the food of the earth. And as we do these things, on this wonderful festival, we become one with our people in the past, in the present, and help to build our people's future together everywhere. We hope you enjoy your Sukkot holiday. Chag Sameach, a happy holiday from all of us to all of you. Shalom.
The Jewish Scene, presented in cooperation with the Radio and Television Commission of the New York Board of Rabbis. Our host was Rabbi Alan Blaine of Temple Bethel of Rockaway Park, music by Cantor Moshe Geffen, teacher Suzanne Blaine. This pre-recorded.